Hello everyone, there is a new survivor in Joma called MANIAC, who is really fun to play in my opinion. I wanted to make this video to show people how to properly play him. Not anything too difficult, just how to at least know how to use him. Let's start off with the first section of this video, with that being the... Before the video starts, make sure to subscribe so I can hit 500. I forgot to say this earlier, but thank you guys for 400, it really means a lot. Now let's get into the video. MANIAC is a snowballer / sentinel type survivor, with the wiki saying they are a damager and a disruptor, with damager meaning they focus on trying to kill the killers, and disruptor focusing on stalling and flanking. I'll try to explain his passives and his abilities without making it sound too complicated. Rage is a snowballing mechanic, where every time you deal damage or take damage your rage will go up. I'm not really going to get into the details of how much rage goes up, because all it says is, rage may also be obtained via taking damage given at a rate of the damage you take divided by 4. And obviously I'm not going to get into all of that. So what does rage actually do? The effects of rage are scaled based on how much rage you actually have. The effects are 33% damage increase, 33% damage reduction, lower cooldowns, and 2.5 movement speed, though some moves have their own changes. While you have rage, it will consistently deplete at a rate of 1% every 3 seconds. Upon reaching 70% or higher rage, then your exhaustion meter will start to build up. Exhaustion is the next passive, and what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to oppose rage, to make it so that you don't get infinite buffs. Once you reach about 70% rage, your exhaustion meter will start to build up over time, and when it reaches 100%, you will be stunned for 3.5 seconds, draining all of your rage and exhaustion. Mind you, you are not immortal during the stun and can be killed. When you reach 100% rage, then you will go into your outreach state, where you bang your head twice. This gives you and any allies around you strength for 5 seconds, and as well as healing you for 5 to 10 HP every bang, as well as losing 75% exhaustion and making exhaustion gain 50% slower for 8 seconds. I'll talk about these passives more when I actually talk about the abilities. Alright, now that the passive is out of the way, let's move on to the first ability is Swing, where you swing your axe, dealing 30 damage. The cooldown is 6 seconds, and obviously the more rage you have, the more damage and lower cooldown the ability has. Landing a swing during your exhaustion state will remove 3 exhaustion, which can be very helpful. I don't know what the controls are for console or mobile, but you can recast your swing via right click for a parry, that if you manage to land, will make you dash back and refund the slash cooldown, and give you around 10 to 15 exhaustion. But missing this will give you 1 second of end lag and put the ability on cooldown, as well as making you lose 5 rage. Missing swing in general also takes away rage. The next ability is Shoulder Check, where you perform 2 shoulder bashes, with the first one dealing 10 damage, and the other one dealing 15 and applying stagger. With the second one, it will only activate after you actually hit the first one. Of course, your damage can be raised, as well as your cooldown being reduced depending on your rage. You also lose rage when you miss the ability. The final ability is Crash, where you perform a short leap that does 25 damage and applies stagger and stall for 1 second. This move requires 25 stamina to be used and gives 15% exhaustion whether you miss or not. Missing the move gives you slowness for about 6 seconds. And of course your damage will get buffed and cooldown shortens depending on your rage, yada yada. Now that you understand what his moves actually do, let's get into how to properly use them. So we all know that he's a snowballer, so he'll start off weak and get strong over time. Because of that, if you keep missing your moves, you're going to be losing rage, and when you lose rage, you don't get your buffs, as well as building up exhaustion, meaning you'll get stunned, so I'd say play somewhat passively. You want to make sure that you're actually hitting your moves, so don't just rush in and spam. Attack when you think you have a good shot of actually hitting. At least stay by one other teammate, especially someone who's able to slow down or stun the killer so that you can get easy hits. Survivors I'd stay by, other than healers, would be Jester, Firefighter, or Vocalist. Jester because he can give you either a cooldown boost or slow down and silence the killers. Vocalist so, well, you can get a cooldown boost, and Firefighter because his flames slow down the killer for a little bit, though any survivor is fine. A huge tip is, if you notice your exhaustion meter getting way too high, run away, because if it reaches 100, then you're gonna get yourself stunned for 3 seconds. I'd recommend trying to get by other survivors or by yourself, and then using the parry variant of Swing to give you 30 exhaustion. Doing that until your exhaustion hits 100, so it resets. If you're in a chase, always try to get to at least another survivor, cause like I said, if your exhaustion meter gets to 100, then you're gonna get stunned and be heavily punished. Some adversaries that aren't very good matchups are Firework, Chaser, Anarchist, and Delahan, mainly because they are really fast and can easily dodge your hits. They aren't too hard to handle if they're attacking a teammate, making their movements pretty predictable, but overall, I wouldn't recommend trying to target them. A really good matchup is Apprentice, because he isn't that fast, but mainly because you can easily farm off Rage from his summons. Hunter is a great counter because attacking the traps give you Rage, and using Crash on barbed wires does a lot of damage to them, making it easy to clean up. Now I'm gonna start talking about the individual abilities and how to properly use them. To start off with Swing, don't randomly use the ability like if you were a knight, because missing the ability will make you lose Rage. Swing is extremely good for building up Rage if you can actually hit it, so if you see a killer that is slowed or stunned, make sure to hit them, because it can give you Rage very quickly. I said this already, but make sure that you actually know if you can hit them or not. The parry doesn't really give you any buffs or help you gain Rage, so you don't want to be using that often. Only use it when you are low on exhaustion or are low on HP, and are confident that you will actually land the parry, of course. Those are some beginner tips to Swing, so now let's move on to Shoulder Check. Shoulder Check is a kind of hard ability to land, so I'd recommend using it mainly on aberrants or tanks, or when someone is slowed down or not as fast. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to use them on other adversaries. If you want to use it on a character that's fast, then I'd recommend trying to hit them with Slash or Crash first, and then follow up with the Shoulder Check, because it's basically a guaranteed hit, especially if you're using Crash. These are all of the tips that I could come up with on the spot, so I don't really know what else to put here. If you have any other ideas, please let me know in the comments. For the last tips for the last ability, we got Crash. Whether you hit Crash or not, you still get 15% exhaustion, which honestly I think they need to either remove that or nerf it to 10, because that is really stupid. I'm fine with gaining the exhaustion if you miss it, but if you hit it, I don't think that should gain it. Because of that, you don't want to use Crash when you're on high exhaustion. You want to use it when you have a lot of Rage, while also not having too much exhaustion. For example, when you reach 100% Rage, that's a good time when you should use it, because not only does your exhaustion gain reduced, you also lose 75% of it. You should not use Crash as an escape option, because you get slowness for missing it, and again, you get exhaustion, so I'd say use it offensively and defensively. When I mean defensively, I mean using it as sort of a stun, because it launches enemies up into the air if hit. Overall, I think Maniac is really fun if you know how to use him. He does need some changes to make him a little bit better, but other than that, he is not bad whatsoever. This was my beginner's guide to Maniac, and I'll probably make more on other characters too, but for now, this is what I have. Anyways, see ya!